a near-death experience. Let me paint a picture of what happened. So it starts kind of in 2019. I'm going to make it super short and sweet, but I tore my bicep in 2019 running a Spartan race, and I couldn't lift weights for a while. So I started running, and that turned into a running joke, pun intended, that you don't have to run to lose weight. But what it actually led to was me falling in love with a new adventure, which I sucked at, which is running. So I had the bright idea that I would put a marathon on my bucket list of things I wanted to accomplish. So last year I told everybody, I'm gonna run a marathon. I'm gonna do the Marine Corps Marathon with a lot of you, and I'm gonna crush it. What I didn't tell them is that I was kind of feeling a little burnt out of running. So 4 months out, kept telling myself I should start training, but I can run 10 miles relatively slow, relatively easily. I'll be okay. And then that turned into I can run 8 miles like relatively slow. I'll be okay. So long story short, I just didn't really train for the marathon. So this past October, I jumped into the Marine Corps Marathon despite all my common sense saying, don't do this. This is going to tear your body apart. This is not a good idea. I did it with a lot of you. You were there. You witnessed this embarrassing near-death experience. So I started the race. Everything was great. It was a beautiful day. I'm trotting along. As I said earlier, I'm a Clydesdale. Do you guys know what a Clydesdale is by chance? Yeah, it's a big guy who runs. You can hear him coming from a mile away. That's me. I'm not a runner, like I said. So anyway, I'm out there, and 5 miles in, I'm doing great. I think I called Jay Michael at one point. I FaceTime with him. I'm texting my wife, like, yeah, everything's good. I'm crushing it. Making Instagram stories. Life is good. I'm going really slow, like really slow. But I get to mile 13.1. If you guys don't know, a marathon's 26.2 miles. So I'm halfway through. And I looked at my clock, and it was like 2 hours. I ran a 2-hour half marathon. That's not terrible for your first time out. So I said, you know what? I deserve a bathroom break. Hit a porta potty, use the bathroom, come out. Soon as I step foot out of the porta potty, every muscle in my, let's call it my, we're adults here, my groin, that's what I'm gonna say. My groin seized up. I've never had a groin cramp before. I've had a lot of cramps. This was something different. This was violent. That's the only way I can describe it. I felt like something was literally gonna rip off the bone. So all these red flags are going through my head, and I'm like, okay, this is a problem. I don't know what to do, so I'm just gonna keep going as fast as I can. A mile later, every muscle in my lower body had seized up. Muscles I didn't even know I had seized up. And for the next 12 miles or so, I basically dragged one leg for a while, then the other leg, and I limped my way to almost a 6-hour finishing time. As I was going through that last stretch, there was every possible voice and every possible language telling me, you just need to stop. But I have this weird stubbornness. I've passed it along to my son Cameron, where I don't quit. I just can't take no for an answer. I'm going to do this. But there was an exercise that I did, and I just uncovered it by accident. I'm going to share it with you guys today. We're going to do it together, actually. And it was honestly a big reason why I was able to finish. Not with a world record time. Every grandma out there passed me at some point, gave me a fist bump, and I'm like, I wanted to flip them at all the bird, of course. But I got to the finish line because of this exercise. So we're going to do it together to kick things off, because it's going to lead to 5 unfair advantages that you can take home with you today, and you can use in all parts of your life. Literally every single one. So I want everybody to close your eyes. No peeking, because my eyes are still open. I'm looking at you. I want you to take your right hand, and I want to place it, or I want you to place it, on the center left part of your chest. Now I need just one volunteer without opening your eyes. I want you to tell me, what do you feel? Say it out loud. Your heart. Keep your eyes closed. Feeling your heartbeat, what does that tell you? I need a volunteer. Keep your eyes closed and tell me, what does that tell you? You're alive. Now, we're going to keep our eyes closed just for a second, because this simple truth that I am alive, I'm still here, I have 10 toes down, I'm not dead, I feel like I'm dying, but I'm still here. That thought carried me for 10 miles. Now, why am I telling you to do this? Because we got so much stress in our life. It's so easy to get down. It's so easy to feel like the world's ending in moments. And this simple practice of gratitude, to just say, I'm alive, and realize that there's so many people out there that don't have this opportunity. There's a lot of people who aren't alive that wish they were, or people that don't have what you have in this moment. Whatever you're going through, you're alive. So you can open your eyes, because gratitude is one of 5 unfair advantages we're going to talk about. But there's another part. I don't want you to miss this part. The fact that you're alive, it tells me something more than, yeah, you're just still breathing. It tells me that your purpose is not fully fulfilled. You still have stuff to do. If you didn't, probably wouldn't be here anymore. You still have things to accomplish. There's more to be done. And this is my coach. Y'all meet my coach? Coach Jax. Why is he my coach? Well, because he's basically my twin. He's born almost on the same day as me. We have very similar personalities. And I was out there running this race, and I thought, man, when I get home, Jackson is going to tear me a new one. If I don't finish this race, I'm not going to hear the end of it. Daddy, did you win? Nah, I quit. That word quit isn't going to go away for a long time. And part of my purpose is to teach my kids how to persevere when life sucks. It's not about me in that marathon when I'm 10 miles away from the finish line, sun's beating down on me, and it's uphill both ways, questioning everything about my life. I had to make it bigger than me. And today we're going to talk about purpose. That's one of the 5 as well. So gratitude and purpose are 2 of our 5 unfair advantages that we're going to talk about today. All right. Anybody Libra? Anybody born on October 13th? I kind of knew you were already born on October 13th. My buddy David here, who actually, my middle name is David, we're both born on October 13th. Now, why is this important? Well, I don't really know if I believe in all the signs and all that stuff. Maybe some of you do. But my wife tells me I'm absolutely a Libra. And one of the things that I've always been about is balancing the scales, right? Fairness. I guess that's, correct me if I'm wrong, but you guys feel free to yell at me and say, you're wrong, whatever. But no, I think that's what Libras do. They're all about balance. So when I was a kid, anytime anything didn't go my way, I became famous in my house for this response that life's not fair. This isn't fair. And my dad, who I'm going to butcher his accent, but he used to say, well, son, life isn't fair. He had a country accent because he sang country music. It's a terrible country accent, by the way. But as I was creating this presentation, fairness was something that came to my mind, all right? And unfair advantages is the topic of what we're going to talk about today. And this word unfair typically gets thrown around in a negative way, right? Oh, that's not fair, it's unfair. But actually, I think unfair could be a positive thing. And what I mean by that is when something's unfair, it's typically because you have an advantage, right? But if you use an advantage to make a positive difference in people's lives, then you're going to want things to be a little unfair because this community, like I said in the first part of today, and some of you saw it, most of you saw it, but if you didn't, I said you guys are the heroes. You're the heroes in your community. You guys go out and you influence people in your job and your families, and you need unfair advantages because you don't want to be average, you want to lead other people. So this concept of unfair, we're going to flip the script. It's actually a good thing to have unfair advantages. And the first one, we're going to jump right in, is what I call aggressive gratitude. So many of you, as my friend Charles said earlier, should be considering adding gratitude to your daily practice. Now there's a key word there, practice. It takes practice to make gratitude a part of your life. Now, aggressive gratitude is something a little different, okay? This is my youngest son, Cameron. I'm going to give you just a 2-second backstory. I promise I'm making it quick here. But this is every father's dream picture and every mother's worst nightmare. So I told you about my older son, Jackson. He's my twin. We butt heads like on a lot of things because we have similar styles of communicating. Now, my younger one, he's like my opposite, so we get along really well. Now, what he doesn't know, because I haven't really told him until right now, he happens to be in the room, which is just crazy, but I actually was super petrified of roller coasters when I was a kid. I was just like my oldest son. I would not go on any roller coaster. But that changed over time. And now, when we go to amusement parks, by the way, just by show of hands, anyone know what roller coaster this is by chance? Oh my gosh, I thought that was going to be Ken. I thought Ken all day. You're like a Disney professional. You got outshined up here, man. Yes. It's Tron at Disney World. Crazy roller coaster, right? So the backstory on this is we're walking up to Tron. When you walk up to this Tron roller coaster, it's terrifying if you're a kid. It looks insane. So we get up, and of course, my youngest one's like, hey, I'm going to impress Dad, so I'm going on this thing no matter what. He's got this adrenaline junkie style, kind of like I am with running the marathon. But I'm like, okay, buddy, we're going to do this thing. Jackson's like, no chance. I'm not going. So he and my wife hang back. We get in line, and we get to the front, right? And he's like acting brave, acting tough, like, yeah, I got this. I'm like, cool, man, we're going to kill this. We get up there, and I look over, and I see, like, tears starting to form. So in my head, I'm like, oh, God, my wife's going to kill me, dude. This is it. So 2 things. One, I said, hey, man, here's the way I look at it. It's going to be super scary, of course. But we're going to get off, and you got bragging rights for life. You should be grateful, man. We'll have so much gratitude when we're done because you're going to go up to your big brother and be like, yeah, that's right. And you're going to have a picture to prove it. So we go on. We have a blast. Take the best picture ever. Now, my moment of gratitude was getting off and looking over and saying, okay, he's still got 4 limbs. Perfect. Okay, yeah, he's just a little bit traumatized, but he'll get past it. Grateful that he was still alive so that I could go home and not have to get a job at Disney because my wife wouldn't even look at me if something happened to him. So gratitude has to be practiced all the time. Here's the thing. When you practice gratitude, you are incapable of feeling negative energy. You can't have a bad thought. I'm going to prove it to you in a second. These are 2 counteracting things. When you have negative energy, you feel down, you feel depressed, you feel like you just don't have what you need. When you practice gratitude, even with the silliest thing, like I'm just going to do something off the cuff. My socks, they feel really comfortable right now. I'm so grateful for them. I can't be in a bad mood in that moment. Gratitude has to be utilized aggressively, okay? We have to start using it in all walks of life, not just like when you wake up in the morning and sorry, Charles, I'm going to kill your morning routine for a second. Morning routines are awesome, and I fully support what he said. But sometimes life happens, right? So if you got your little gratitude journal, you got your meditation music that you put on, and that's the only time you practice gratitude, cool, I'm with you, right? That's a good thing. But why not start to practice it a little bit more often in the moments where you're about to lose it, or the moments where you're afraid, or the moments where you just want to give up. You don't want to do what you need to do. Gratitude could be your saving grace. Now, in your workbooks, because I promise you it's not just going to be me talking up here. I want to do some stuff with you. We're going to prove it right now that gratitude works instantly, okay? So there's 3 ways I practice gratitude. 1, like I did when I was running my race, close my eyes, so grateful to be alive. My heart's still beating. I can make this happen. I'm going to cross that finish line. At least I'm alive. I suck at running marathons, but I'm still here. That's powerful. You can have a gratitude thought. Like I'm coming up, getting ready to do my speech. Tech issue. I'm so grateful I got a bathroom break. That was my thought. Full transparency. Wasn't ready. Needed to use the bathroom. But I think what's more powerful is writing it down. All right? I think writing things down, and we're going to talk about writing next, which is our next unfair advantage. Writing things down is just a little bit more impactful. It's almost a signal to your brain that, hey, I'm putting a little bit more into this, a little bit more effort. So what I want you to do before we get into writing, in your notebooks, we're going to take literally 30 seconds. This is not going to take long. I want you to write down something right in this moment that you're grateful for. Don't think too hard about this, please. I want you to do it right off the cuff. Whatever's top of mind, whatever happened today that you're just like, man, that was so cool. Write it down. I'm going to have 2 people share very quickly, and then we're going to keep it moving. 30 seconds. If you're done and you want to share, raise your hand, because I need two sharers. Okay, I'm going to go to the 2 Charleses just because it just sounds cool.
Okay, immediately the things I'm grateful for is having both my husband and my brother sitting next to me at this event.
Hey, hold on a second. How do you feel right now? Amazing. Right now, okay, bear with me. I know we're at an amazing event. You're on cloud 9. But if I just came over and told you your suit sucks, which it doesn't, for the record, and then you just said what you just said, do you think you'd feel a little better after I just knocked you down a peg? All right, Charles, number 2.
When you were speaking early, it was my phone that rang earlier at the beginning, and it was my son who wanted to talk to me. And I just love that I have a son who would call me, and I texted him, and he said, I'm available. He was just texting me just because he wanted to connect. And so when I see the pictures of you with your son, it reminds me of him. It's just the best love ever.
Mic drop. Somehow I knew he was going to say something powerful. I mean, it's not like he spoke earlier and said amazing things. Okay, so gratitude. Take it home with you, but make it aggressive. I talk about aggressive patience all the time. Aggressive patience is going after your goals with reckless abandon, but being willing to wait as long as it takes to get there. Aggressive gratitude is using gratitude more frequently through your thoughts, your words, and your writing, which we're going to talk about now. Writing, unfair advantage number 2. So I love to write. And before you get freaked out, I'm not going to turn you all into these writers that have to write a bunch of content and Facebook posts. You guys already do that anyway. But writing is it's almost therapeutic for me. I've always liked to write. But recently I've really started to realize how powerful and an unfair advantage writing can be. And I'm going to explain what I mean. So I'm going to show you some Shakespeare level writing here in a second. Like, this stuff's going to blow your mind. Just buckle up. I don't know, did you get seatbelts? Because you're going to need to buckle up for this one. This is my finest work. Now, this is not a handwritten sticky note, but if you can imagine a handwritten sticky note, this was written to my wife. Sorry, I'm just embarrassing everyone in my family who's here. It is what it is. It's for the business guys. Listen, anybody here want to connect on deeper levels with your spouse? Don't be embarrassed if your spouse is here. Just say it, right? Maybe not all your spouses are. You guys' hands are like so low right now. You're like, thank you. We all do, of course, right? That's just what people who want a healthy relationship always are thinking about, right? How can I do more for my spouse? And I'm one of those guys that I try to do a lot, but sometimes it's the little things, right? Sometimes it's sitting right in front of your face. Could be something as simple as writing a handwritten note to your wife. Now, anybody want to connect better with your kids? Hell yeah, we all do. Sometimes we feel like, I talked to Jeff yesterday, I'm not going to go deep into our conversation because it was between cold plunging and the sauna, it was an intimate experience with you. But we talked a lot about being a father and how much we just care, right? And I know a lot of you care a lot. So you guys are looking for ways to connect better with your kids. Write them a note. I make my kids lunch most days, and occasionally, not all the time, I will slip a written sticky note. They're here. If you think I'm lying, they'll tell you. I write sticky notes sometimes to my kids, not all the time. So this is something you could start to do. It sounds so simple. But I tell you guys all the time, within simplicity lies genius. Because we ignore the simple stuff, and we always look for the complex stuff. But don't worry, there's more. Okay? Writing is a great way to connect with your kids, your spouse. Those notes you got earlier, this is so crazy, by the way. I did not know that the note thing was happening until like last minute. I already made my slides. I was like, are you guys bugging my house? Because I'm talking about writing handwritten notes. They're like, dude, don't worry about it. Just sign all the cards, read them if you want, but like, this is what we're doing. I'm like, you guys are rock stars. And you're stalkers because you know my slides. Because handwritten thank you notes just hit different, right? Like these days with email and text and all the electronic stuff that we do to communicate, if we even communicate, writing thank you notes is a superpower. If you want to stand out in today's world, go old school. When I get a handwritten thank you note, I'm like, that person means it. That person took time. Because that's really what it is. It's not so much the note, it's the time it took. It didn't take 5 seconds to text or send a voice note. It might have taken 2 minutes. Me, it's like 10 because my handwriting's so bad. But it's meaningful. And if you want to stand out, if you want to start connecting with people, your network, start writing thank you cards. Who here writes their goals every single day? I mean every single day. Nobody, right? So check this out. I would wager that it's impossible to not hit your goals if you write them down every single day. Seriously. When I look back at the biggest goals I've ever hit, I wrote them down a lot. I've dug out old journals when I was just first starting out in the fitness industry, and I used to write down my goals all the time. My first ever coach I hired for like $50, he told me, hey, dude, I just want you to buy a journal and write your goals down all the time. It's like, wow, that's groundbreaking. Next thing you know, I'm crushing my goals. Why? Because we're telling our brain what's going to happen more frequently. We're putting meaning behind what we want to accomplish. Write your goals as often as you can. If you're serious about making them happen, write them down all the time. Now, Charles, once again, the synergy here is crazy, guys. We did not plan this. We're not like Cheech and Chong here. Well, maybe later. But I'm kidding. We don't smoke, guys. It's just the first two people that came to my mind. It's totally weird, but just roll with it. Okay, so he talked a lot about stress, right? And how it can impact your sleep when you have a lot on your mind. And I thought to myself, holy crap, like this is exactly what I want to tell them. Brain dump. We go to bed with a lot on our mind. Write it down. Get it out. You know why? Because you can lay your head down at night knowing when you wake up the next day, the stuff you want to tackle, the stuff you want to take care of is going to be there waiting for you. You don't have to sleep on it. It's on paper. Do brain dumps. You guys have a lot of good ideas too. Like, don't devalue writing all the things down that you think about. Because I promise you there's a lot of untapped genius in a lot of your heads. You just got to get it down on paper. Don't try to remember everything. Why do you think I'm doing slides? I don't want to memorize everything. I want to just freestyle. I want to get up here and flow and help you guys. Write your stuff down. So, your turn to write. Literally 60 seconds. This is what we're going to do. One goal. I don't care what it is. Just make sure it's meaningful. That's the biggest thing. And here's what I want. In front of you is a blank thank you card. I'm going to use you as an example. This is the blank thank you card. It's within an envelope. Pull the card out. Sorry, I didn't mean to drop it like that. That was aggressive. Pull the card out. And now here's what I want you to do. I want you to write a very short and sweet thank you note to someone new that you've interacted with today or yesterday or, I don't know, at some point in the past 48 hours that had an impact on you. Don't give it to them now. This is not a gift exchange time. We'll be here all night. But at some point, I want you to walk up to that person and just say, hey, thank you. I appreciate the conversation we had. I appreciate the insight you shared or just letting me vent or the spot at the gym. Whatever it is, give them a handwritten thank you card. Because I guarantee y'all might lie and say you do, but a lot of you, and I know I don't, we don't write enough handwritten cards. Do it right now. 30 seconds. 30 seconds, then we're going to keep it going. One goal. Short and sweet thank you card. And by the way, if I don't get at least 7, there's no chicken parm for you guys. Okay, I'm keeping it short, baby. We're keeping it moving. All right. I don't need to know who you wrote your thank you card. That's between you and the person. One person I need to volunteer to tell me the goal they wrote down. No shame in your game. Charlie's hand goes up like, I just look at him, his hand goes up. There you go.
Less phone time, more Don time.
Phew. All right. Let's do one more because that was just so good. I want to keep the momentum. Who wants to share one goal? Less phone time, more Don time. I'm going to do the same goal, bro. Is that weird? Okay. All right. One more. Okay, Megan. By the way, what's up?
Continue to grow my own inner peace.
What does that mean? Or how are you going to do it?
More self-care, more discipline, which is self-care, more faith in myself that I can do all the things that I need to do, and learn how to give myself grace.
Self-care, that's like your top self-care thing.
Journal, probably.
Journal?
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. Give it up for Megan, by the way. Y'all thought you were going to get away with not having any fitness tips. Well, we're at a fitness event, so I would be a crazy person not to talk about fitness. Fitness adventures, though. This is my spirit animal. This is Bob. Bob, even though he really doesn't know it, changed my life. Here's the story. A few years back, I decided I needed something new to tackle. I told you guys I'm an adrenaline junkie who doesn't train for marathons. You might call me an idiot, whatever. I said I'm going to teach myself how to ski. Once again, coach, not getting coaching. Super smart. So, luckily, I'm just a tiny little bit athletic. Not crazy athletic, but enough to where I would go straight down the hill thinking, I just hope I don't plow into a 5-year-old. Because that 5-year-old is going to have a terrible day. And I'm going to have a terrible rest of my life in court. So that self-taught skiing crap, that lasted like, half a day. Realized I don't know how to carve, I don't know how to do anything. So I started watching YouTube videos, and I was like, okay, dude, you're a coach. Just go get some coaching. All right, so I go to this ski resort near my house. I check in. I say, hey, I need to get a ski lesson. They're like, great. Are you a beginner, intermediate, or are you advanced? I was like, my ego was like, advanced. Hell yeah. That's what I said. I'm advanced. Thinking I'm going to go with like a really cool instructor. Because here's the thing, guys. I'm like a total crazy person. Okay, maybe I am. But I saw people going on lessons, and it was like little kids, like beginner classes. I was like, dude, I got to skip that. Like, push me down the hill. Let me just go. So I said, I'm advanced. I said, cool, you're with Bob. All right. My uncle's name is Bob. Sounds cool. Let's do it. My uncle's a great skier, by the way. So I was like, it's good. It's a good sign. So this guy comes over. And he said, hey, man, get on the lift. We're going up. I was like, all right. He's like, I'm going to watch you ski. I'm like, oh, great. My cover's blown. So I start going down the mountain. I'm trying to carve. Now, I know Bob wanted to laugh at me, but he was kind enough not to. Because he could probably tell this guy is a liar. Because I'm advanced. Yeah, not really. So we get to the bottom of the hill because I kind of just went straight down again, tried to turn a little bit, didn't fall, which was a huge victory. And I get down to the bottom. He goes, hey, I'm going to teach you one thing you're going to know how to ski. I was like, whoa, really? Like, yep. All you got to do is, I'm not going to tell you what he said because this is really boring, but he told me this really simple tip. It was just where to place my feet if I want to carve. It's like, wow, that makes so much sense. So simple. Why didn't I think of that? We go back up. I started skiing like I had skied my whole life. You can ask my wife. It was crazy. It wasn't me. It was this great coach. So we started chatting because the rest of the day I actually ended up doing a black diamond that day. Crazy, right? Scared the crap out of me, by the way. I was like, yeah, torn bicep, but that's going to be nothing by the time you get done with this day. So anyway, we're talking. I said, Bob, hey, I gotta be honest, man. I was like, I'm not an advanced. This is my first time skiing. He goes, what? He's like, well, you weren't great when you started, but you definitely weren't a beginner. I said, well, thank you, man. Thank you. He goes, but I can tell you're really coachable because I just told you one thing and now you're skiing. I said, yeah, I coach for a living. That's just my passion. I like coaching people. I said, Bob, how did you get into skiing? He said, well, skiing. He goes, let me actually take that back. It's not skiing. He's like, it's fitness. Being fit saved my life. I was like, what do you mean? He goes, well, skiing was just another fitness adventure. I said, well, how long have you been skiing? He's like, about 15 years. Started after my wife died, and I wanted to kill myself. I said, really? He started crying. Kid you not. Started crying. I said, Pop, wow, your wife must have died really young, man. Like, what are you, like 55? He goes, no, I'm 85 years old. 85-year-old badass. This guy was carving up a mountain like it was turkey on Thanksgiving. Is that a good analogy? It sounded cool. Anyway, he was killing it. 85 years old. And you know what he said? He said, fitness and this adventure of learning how to ski and then eventually becoming a ski instructor lights up my life. It gives me something to look forward to. It keeps me in the game of taking care of myself because I know if I'm going to teach people how to ski, not break their neck, I got to be fit. He's like, when my wife passed, my whole world came crumbling down. And fitness and this adventure I've been on now for 15 years truly saved my life. I said, Bob, you didn't just save my life, but you changed my life because that's one of the most powerful things I've ever heard. And Bob is my spirit animal, dude, for real. Fitness is an adventure, guys. I've had so many conversations with you over the past couple days. A lot of you have come up to me and said, man, next time I'm going to be a little better. Next time I'm going to be just a little better. I'm going to come in a little leaner. Man, I could have dieted just a little harder. And I was like, in the conversation, I said, yeah, that's exactly how I feel every time too. It's just an adventure. It's just the next adventure. You know, you might be a little better next time. You might not be, but you might tackle something else. That's just the way it's going to be. You got to get used to it. Strap in because fitness is never ending. You know, you guys know, yes, I preach a really simple system, the 3M system. You guys say it for me? Movement, muscle, and meals. You guys know why I say it in that order? Have you guys ever heard why? No? You're shaking your head now. So I'm going to take you as an answer for the group. Movement is the easiest thing to start, right? You don't got to go to the gym. You can do it right here. Check it out. I'm moving. Morning movement, like Chris, we're not talking about going number 2. Like Jay Michael's joke earlier. That was kind of funny. I'm not going to lie. I laughed out loud. But movement is just simply moving your body more, right? A body in motion has more energy. That's the easiest thing. Now, the second hardest thing for most people is getting in the gym. Why? Because there's a little bit more you have to change with your routine, right? You can't just snap your fingers and start lifting weights right in front of you, unless you have a home gym, which most of you don't. So you have to go to the gym. You got to carve out time. You got to change your schedule. So that's why it's the second thing. Everybody knows the hardest one is meals. As my brother-in-law pointed out to me, sometimes my meals suck. Oatmeal cream pies. If you guys missed it, that was great because it's true. But meals is typically the hardest part for most people because we do more eating than anything else. Typically eat 3-4 times a day, maybe work out 3-4 times a week. So that's why we do it in that order, okay? So we're not going to dive into the 3M system, but I just want you guys to know that the basics always work. Fitness is an adventure, and the baseline is always going to be the basics. But fitness also keeps you coachable. I don't know who said it. I can't remember the interview. It might have been Oprah. I was trying to rack my brain. I couldn't remember what it was, but somebody really smart, really wise, really successful was asked, like, hey, when do you feel like enough is enough when it comes to, like, self-improvement? You know, when do you feel like you kind of know enough to just crush it in life? And they said, never, like when I'm dead. And I think fitness is an easy way to keep you in the game in terms of being coachable. You know, I talked about my marathon. I talked about skiing. All these things we want to do that we suck at right now, you're literally a coach away from being probably better than average. So yeah, you guys are all here because you're fitness focused. You want your health to be a priority. You don't want to sacrifice your family time, your work time, and what's important to get in shape, so you hire a coach. Keep hiring coaches. Us, please, but others too. Charles is a great coach. I would strongly recommend anyone who needs executive mentorship to talk to Charles. Just stay coachable. You never know everything. I learn new stuff all the time from all of you. All right? So fitness keeps you coachable. Okay. Bust out your pens. Activity number 3. Real quick, 30 seconds. Don't want you to think too much about this one because I promise you're going to second guess yourself. What new and uncomfortable fitness adventure will you accomplish this year? Write it down. It's not real until you write it down. Someone said the true 8. That does not count. The year starts on Monday. Come on, man. I like it, though. I like it. I'm not going to lie. Something you haven't signed up for, but you've been thinking. And you know what? Here's the deal. Guys and girls, you do not have to do a race. This could be anything that involves activity, getting uncomfortable, using your body, something you want to learn, rock climbing. I don't know. I suck at swimming, and guess what? For years, I've been like, yeah, I want to do a triathlon. And every time I think about it, I'm like, nah, I can't swim. True story. So I inch closer and closer. I do marathons, 1 marathon. I am doing another one at the end of the year. I'm going to train for it this time. But pick something uncomfortable that you want to accomplish. 2 volunteers really quick. Let's go. Someone wants to share what they wrote down. Don't be shy, dude. This is a fitness event. Aaron. I want to clap it up, but it feels like I've heard that so many times. We know you're doing the high rocks. Pick something else. Yes. Spartan Beast in Utah. You guys love races. I think we're built the same. Your husband's pointing at you. Go hiking the Blue Ridge Mountains. See, I like that one. Okay, Jen, what do you got? Win. With my wife? Hold on a second. You guys hear that? She's trying to kill my wife. What's going on? All right, wait. Which half marathon? Princeton, New Jersey? I'm asking. Yeah, I want you. Yeah. See what happens when you co-sign someone without their permission? You go to jail. Which one? You're not getting off that easy. Richmond. Okay, I'm gonna take. You're doing Richmond. Me and Michelle are gonna talk later. Okay. Okay. All right. Anybody want to do one more? One more. All right, Belton, what you got? Back? Okay, which mountains? See all the excuses piling up already? Sounded cool. Which one? Ooh, the San Juans? Lucky you. All right, so I strongly encourage all of you, and part of why I'm going to encourage you as much as I can to recommit all the time to your fitness goals is because you got to keep new challenges. One of the secrets I've found to staying fit and healthy and vibrant and all the things we talked about today is setting new targets, right? Every season I want to accomplish something. And it doesn't have to be crazy. I talk about a lot of crazy stuff, but honestly, sometimes it's just like, hey, I just want to maintain my weight, right? I want to add more than 5 pounds in the holidays. But as long as it's a little uncomfortable, it's going to keep you going. It's going to toughen you up. It's going to thicken your skin. And I promise you, you will never, ever regret doing something that gets you out of your comfort zone. Promise. Can I get an amen? All right. Okay. Speak of the devil. All right. I actually did not just do that on purpose. That's kind of cool that worked, though. Okay. We're going to get deep for a second. I am going to try not to preach, even though I really want to, because I'm not a pastor yet. But you are missing church tomorrow because it's the true 8. So I feel like I need to preach a little bit. But I'm going to tell you something. I'm not here to tell you what to believe. I'm happy to tell you what I believe in. I'm happy to tell you about my faith, which I will. But a lot of people ask me, what do you do to keep your family together and strong? And honestly, over the past year, I've realized there's really only one answer. And that is faith. That is God. That is what I call values. I'm going to be very real and direct with you guys. We live in a world where value systems are becoming extinct. You know, the line is getting pushed further and further out. What's acceptable? What's good? What's, I guess, healthy? What's not? And I think at the end of the day, a lot of the reason why people struggle through certain chapters in their life is they don't have a strong value system. Now, you're going to have to bear with me on this one because I think you'll really appreciate why this is so important. Now, I put me and my wife and kids on 2 opposite sides, right? And I think the tendency for us as we go through life and we want things from other people, whether it's our friends, our family, And we set expectations, right? A lot of how we behave towards others is dictated by how they behave towards us. And when expectations aren't met, we struggle. We hold resentment. We lash out. And I told you today is not just about transforming your body, even though that is a big part of it. It's not just about whatever you need help with your business. It's about your life at the end of the day, because all the same principles apply. The biggest lesson I've learned over this past year with my faith is that it doesn't matter how other people act. My expectations need to go to the wayside. The way I act is determined by my values. The way I treat people, from my wife to my kids to my friends to my coworkers. You can ask some of my coworkers, I haven't had some of the greatest moments in certain times. Because you put expectations on people and you treat them the way they treat you. And that doesn't work. It doesn't work. We have to start looking to something that never changes. Once again, I'm not here to tell you what to believe. A lot of you come from different backgrounds, different faiths. Some of you might not believe in a higher power. I believe in Jesus. Some of you do. That's cool. If you don't, man, I'm just here to set as good of an example as I can. And maybe I'll impact your life in a positive way. But it's not just about my belief. It's about my actions. Because the closer I can draw to the values I have and my belief system, the closer I get with the people I care about. Because my behavior is not dictated by, oh, did my kids have a bad day? They talk back to me? Well, then I'm going to talk back to them. I'm going to show them who's boss. That doesn't align with my beliefs. That's not how my spiritual father treats me when I act like a crazy person. I need to be a living human example of someone who holds a higher standard. And I'm by no means perfect. I'm literally I'm like, there's perfect, and then the other end of the spectrum is me. I think you'd all agree, like, there is no such thing as perfection. But where we start to really struggle is when we lose our values. So I'm not telling you what to believe in, but I would strongly encourage you to ask yourself this question. And we're not going to do it right now. We're going to move into the next one, but I want you to take this home and think about this. What are your core values? For me, it's the Bible, okay? Whatever the Bible says in terms of direction, that's how I try to live my life. And honestly, I'm not the best example most of the time, but that's kind of part of the game. You know, we're human. But at least it's something I can lean on that never changes. Because people are going to change, right? What's considered cool and nice and the way to treat people now, that's going to be different in 5 years. It's going to be different tomorrow, right? There's nastiness online. I mean, there's people telling hateful things to me every single day. You guys know, Charlie knows, man. You guys see what people say online to us. Like Don, I posted a picture of Don and people attacked him like rabid dogs. But how do we treat those people? I'll tell you a true story. This happened this morning, and we're going to move on. True story. Imagine this, okay? We're in the gym this morning. We're working out. We got 50 plus people. And I had a moment. Who was I talking to? Yes, I was talking to James. Thank you, dude. You saw this. This guy, this very tall, pretty jacked guy, all tatted up, right? Really intimidating. We're talking next to him. He stands up from his bench, and he's furious. He looks at me like he wanted to kill me with his eyes, for real. And he said, "Wish you guys would get out of my way." I think that's what he said. Maybe something similar. Yeah, and he just wanted to hurt somebody. And in that moment, you know, the 21-year-old me was like, "Bro, I know jiu-jitsu. Don't you touch me. You will lose all your fingers and your life in the process." My fighter friend back there knows what I'm talking about, right? He's looking at me like he wants to kill me right now. I better stop talking. No. So this guy's mad, and he starts making a scene, kind of. So in that moment, right, like, yeah, he was being rude. He was being a total jerk. And I wanted to lash back out at him. And I think we all do this in our life with the people we love the most, right? They have a bad day, and we're like, you know what? I'll show you. You think you're being mean? Just wait. I got you. Give me an hour. But that's not what our core values should be. And in that moment, you guys can ask, I had to like breathe for a second, and then I went up to him, I was like, hey man, I'm so sorry, dude. You're totally right. We were in your way. That was really messed up, man. I know you're trying to crush it with your workout. I totally get it. I said, but to be honest, I just thought you were in our group because we have so many people here. And he goes, yeah, you could have looked at the logo on my shirt. It's not the same as yours. I was like, okay. Okay, sir. Where's Don? No, you know what I said? I said, let me get you a shirt, man. And he didn't know what to say. He goes, okay, and stormed off. I was like, hey, kill him with kindness, because that's my value system. Now, I wouldn't always do that. I'm going to have my moments where I'll backslap him, right? But I was like, I got all my people here, man. What kind of example is that? That's how we need to think about the alignment we have with our values. Are we treating the people we love and care about, not according to how they act and operate, but according to the beliefs and value system we have? Okay, you guys good so far? Is this helpful? Yeah. Okay, if you say so. That's found it a little weak. Was that helpful? All right, I promise you we're getting to chicken parm. Don't worry. I just gave away what we're eating. And salmon. All right, purpose-driven life. This is unfair advantage number 5. If you're taking notes, we are on number 5. Now, there's a few guarantees in life. Number 1 is pain. You will, as a human being, experience pain. It is guaranteed. The second guarantee, and I love what Charles said earlier, he said, never retire. And I was like, hell yeah, dude, I'm never retiring. Why would I retire from this? Are you kidding me? No, thank you. But then I thought, I'm still going to work, right? Like, this doesn't always feel like work. In fact, it rarely does. I got to be honest. I'm so blessed. I'm the luckiest man on the planet. But work is always guaranteed in life. Guaranteed. No matter how old you are, there will be work to be done. Even if it's your personal life, your family life. Talk to Frank all the time about the work he does with his mom, his grandmother, like all the things you do for your family, bro. Work never stops. Just changes. The third thing is uncertainty. There's no guarantees. This is just life. So, unfortunately, what ends up happening, I'm going to go back because I want to make a point real quick. What ends up happening is we live an ego-driven life. Here's what I mean. You ask somebody, what's your purpose, man? What do you want to do? Man, I want to make so much money. I want to be like number 1 in my company. I want to be top of the charts, man. Big house, big cars. And by the way, I love all those things. Who doesn't? We're human. Materialistic stuff, we're wired that way. We haven't caught up to the fact that like we have too much stuff. We're still living in caveman days in our brains. But when we have an ego-driven life, we're going to suffer a lot more because we're not leading a life that's about this stuff. Because I'll tell you right now, little secret, it ain't ever going to be enough. All the stuff you want that you think you want to accomplish, there's always going to be more. And what ends up happening when you make life about you and all the things you want to accomplish, it starts to feel empty. It starts to feel very unfulfilling. This is why I stress coming together so much. It's why I stress to our team all the time, like, we have the luckiest job on the planet. Our entire life is about helping other people. Do you realize how purpose-driven that is? So, I know a lot of you are like, well, I kind of know my purpose, I think. Maybe you don't. Maybe you'd have a hard time answering what your purpose is. I'm going to show you how to find it. There's actually a worksheet. If you guys go to, yeah, there you go, Belton. You want to hold that up for everybody so everybody can see? Thank you, man. Now put your other hand up. No, who did that? My shoulders were killing me. I'm not going to make you do that. All right, that was J. Michael. I'm not going to do that because my shoulders were burning. All right, so I want you to take a look at that sheet because I'm going to show it on the screen in a second. But there's some simple ways to live a purpose-driven life, one of which is to pay it forward. Anybody ever go through the Starbucks drive-thru? You get to the window to get we're at TT, black coffee. And they're like, yeah, sir, it's already been taken care of. The guy in front of you paid for it. Does that ever happen to you? Heck yeah, right? It feels awesome. You're like, dude, that guy, whoever that is, man, you rock. It's $3. But it was the act of paying it forward. You learn something that's helpful, share it with somebody. It's your job. You know why it's your job? Because it was helpful to you, but if you really want to get good at it, you better learn how to teach it. Pay it forward. Remove the ego. This is so hard to do. To be completely honest with you guys can challenge me on this. I'm totally going to steal your line. I wasn't going to, but I'm just feeling it. You guys can challenge me on this if you want. I don't think it's possible to completely remove your ego. I think it's there for survival purposes in a lot of aspects. But I think when we can remove it out of our purpose as much as possible, and we wake up every day and it's not just about me, what am I going to do? What am I going to accomplish? It's like, how can I get up and help other people? Most importantly, your families, the people closest to you. How can I make their life just a little better today? That's how I think we start to remove it from the center of our life. And it becomes more of a spectator instead of the driving force behind what we do. Give. Give. It's so simple, man. It doesn't have to be money. Give your time. Give knowledge. Give a book. Send a recommendation for a restaurant. I don't know. Just give. Listen, you can't outgive God anyway. You guys know this? This is for real, by the way. You can't do it. Good luck. Try it. I dare you. I've been donating to my church on autopilot for a long time. And I've always had a roof over my head. Didn't hurt me. Yeah, I don't have all the fancy cars. I don't want all of them. Just a couple. I'm a sneakerhead, man. Come on, that's all I care about. No, in all seriousness, you really can't outgive God. And no matter who your God is or what you believe in, I don't think it's possible to have a give-first mentality and completely struggle through life. I think there might be times of struggle, but I think at the end of the day, you'll always come out at a better place if you make giving the priority. Honor the good in life. You want to find your purpose? Find the good in life. What do you enjoy? Honor it. This is how you find your purpose. Now, this doesn't mean this is exactly how you're going to make all your money and you're going to wake up every day doing what you love, enjoying every second. There's going to be ups and downs, but I look at your purpose as being the center of a few things. Number one, you love it. I love fitness, man. I love fitness. I love watching people transform. So I'm passionate, and I got a mission. I want to help you transform your life permanently using the power of health and fitness. I believe it's the lowest hanging fruit to improving all aspects of your life. It will teach you more lessons than anything else. The world needs it. The world's 70% of people in the world are overweight and unhealthy. 70%. Maybe not the world, but definitely in the United States. I mean, and that number's climbing by the second. Pretty soon it's going to be 70% of people are clinically obese. So yeah, I think the world needs it. I'm also really good at it. I went to school for it. Okay, I did a lot of certifications. So I have a profession and a vocation. So as I'm telling you all this, I want you to start thinking about how are things in my life aligned in this sort of way? Because if you're great at something, which by the way, all of you are overqualified to be influences to other people. You're overqualified. You know what that means? It means you're so good, you just don't even know it. You're so good because you walk into a room, like George said, you make it bright, you influence people to do bigger and cooler things, and that's where you start. You know, it might lead to other things. It may not be that you're a fitness coach. I mean, I'd love to hire you all, but my top line needs to stay somewhat healthier before I do all that. But at the end of the day, you can be a coach in so many different ways. You can help people. You can make your purpose combined with all of these things. Now, there's questions. We're not going to do it right now because we're going to wrap up here in a second. But as you go through the next week or so, I want you to answer the questions that I put on that chart. If this calls you, like there's no pressure here. You don't have to do this exercise. But if you're out there like, hey, you know, I love my career. I'm doing all right. But I think I need a little something else. I need to add some more purpose to my life. Use the questions I put there. Just do some reflection over the next day or so. This is the question that I would just ask yourself when you have a moment. How can you be of service to others and make a positive impact on the world? It's really a powerful question. But I promise you, every single one of you in here has something to offer. I guarantee it. So, that's number 5. If you guys ever been a part of my trainings, I always throw in a little bonus. That's just my whatever. It's my calling card. I don't know what you call it, but it's my signature move. There's always a bonus. There's a bonus unfair advantage. You probably guessed it. Maybe you didn't. But I gave you a clue earlier. It is community. I think it's this community. Of course I would. It's mine. It's our team's. It's all of yours. I'd be a fool not to say this is an unfair advantage. All of you in this room coming together, even just for a day, is a powerful exercise. This community wants to see you win more than they care about winning. You're not going to find that in too many places. I've been a part of a lot of communities, and most of them are very ego-driven, who can do better, I'm cooler, you're not part of the cool club, you're not in the clique. If you want to be in the clique, you got to pay more money, that kind of thing. That's not how we operate here, right? I have a goal for everybody who walks through our doors to, number 1, change your life using fitness. Change your health, master it. Never have to worry about it again. That's goal number 1. Get you results. Number 2 is turn you into what I call an ambassador, but it's really somebody who just is out there in the world who's like, hey, this is how you do it, guys. In your workplace, in your communities, help other people avoid the confusion that's going on when it comes to health and fitness. So my challenge to you is this, as we start to wrap up, and as we wrap up, because I can tell you guys are hungry. Commit, or, I'm not going to say don't commit, recommit. Commit if you haven't committed to changing your health, getting yourself in shape, do it now. Take today as an opportunity, because today is absolutely a blessing. It's a gift. Gratitude. You got it, use it. Change your life. Get yourself in shape if you're not where you want to be. All the tools are right in front of you. Or if you're already here and you're like, yeah, I'm doing all right. Been kind of stagnant though. I need a little bit of a reset. Just recommit. Recommit. And then take action. We talked about 5 things. Gratitude, to recap. Writing, fitness, faith, and purpose. And my belief is this. When you put these things into action, you will get in better shape. You will have better relationships than you thought possible. And whatever your goal is, whether it's transforming your family, maybe it's the world. Some of you are pretty powerful people. The only way we're going to do it is together. So, that, my friends, concludes TT Live 2024, where we transform together today. I appreciate you so much. I love you so much. Thank you. Let's have a beautiful evening.